Hi, it's Laura again from Hyperstamper. Put together the finishing touches on another journal. This is another 100-page journal that's front and back. And normally all of my journals are 4 signatures, 80 pages front and back. This one, just like the last one I just posted, I did 5 signatures. So kind of different for me. It makes this incredibly chunky. Like ridiculously chunky. And remember, this is all antique paper, and it is just stuffed with pockets full of really cool antique treasures. So let's have a little look. This book is from 1800s, 1890s, and I'll show you the inscription inside. I believe it's 1898. And this is a lovely floral yellows and greens and rusts on navy with this beautiful sailboat with a sunrise in the back and the water. The spine is beautiful. The name of this book was called All for Himself. I did cover the title, and I put this little mini journal. It's just decorative, but if you want to try journaling it, I challenge you to do that. Just some fun little bits in there that I think you'll find cute. And I just put that on a vintage chain. So let's take a little look inside here. This is from the Doler Public School, and I love the inscription here. It was for history and geography, and that is June 29th, 1898. That would have been probably a gift for that class, for doing well in that class, which was very common in the back in the day. So this is just a vintage needle or cross stitch here, and one of these very rare color bingo cards from the 50s. They tried to do a different version of bingo. It didn't really go over well, but the cards are really cool and colorful. Just made this little secret tuck spot here. And this is a page also from an 1800s book. And that is the marbled piece that would have matched the cover. And it, of course, fell out of the book when I purchased it. It was already pulled apart. So I kept it, and I've had it for years, and finally thought, let somebody else enjoy that now. Just a little journaling card here, tucked into a piece of antique paper. I did put some tea-dyed pages in amongst the authentic pages just for extra journaling space. Some pressed flowers, hydrangea petals, and that's an antique book page image here. Another one, this is a 1950s American Highways Road Maps, stamp collected book page, and a how-to watercolor page from the late 60s. There we go, more of that. Look at this beautiful antique book page. This woman from Iceland. This would have been part of a history book. And let's see here, we've got a ledger page from 1931. That's kind of cool. More of these antique book images. Some blank pages here for you to journal on. And this is a 1928 page out of Billboard magazine. And it's just got the best advertisements in it. Just so much fun. And that is a vintage Birds of America book page. It is on glossy, but you can see the beautiful natural aging around the edges, and it's just a lovely little sparrow. Here's more of that Billboard 1928 magazine. It's fantastic. And more ledger pages here, and some hand stamping that I did just to decorate my tea-dyed pages. A vintage bird watcher's book and log. I did tea-dyed a little more. A little booklet I made here out of antique paper and vintage wallpaper. Some vintage crochet on it, and a nice old stamp down here. More old stamps here. Some interior spines. Another journaling pocket here, and a 1950s full huge spread from a magazine, and a vintage botanicals page here. Isn't that pretty back there? And this is from 1915 from Girls' Own annual magazine. This is actually from a box, a piano paper roll box from a player piano. Isn't that beautiful? And the box disintegrated when I took out the paper, and so I kept to that end because it was pretty. I find all old paper pretty. This is incredibly beautiful. This is an old postcard here. And believe it or not, this is from 1820s. Isn't that amazing? That is really something. And to have it not written on is spectacular. So that's a very rare piece that I hope somebody will enjoy very much. Just some vintage needles from England that I found in an old sewing box. Just a little coupon I found in a vintage magazine, and a little journaling card back here, and another antique book page that I made into a journaling card from the Three Musketeers book. Lots tucked into that one. And look at this wonderful full page spread from a children's magazine. Not his kind of shop, but look at the color. This is an amazing condition for a 100-year-old image. And that's a lovely little children's book page there. And look at this pretty vintage botanicals page. Isn't that lovely? Some 1930s Monopoly money, a little tear there, but still lots of fun. You can tear that up more if you want and use it throughout your other journals, or make collages out of it, or just keep it as it is. Some vintage lace here. Another vintage image from a history magazine or history book. And look at this lovely, I kept this on the back because I didn't want to forget where it came from, but this is a Cape Cod photograph of a woman and her husband went on a trip all through Canada and down the East Coast, and they ended up in Cape Cod in 1934. It's a fun story. I have a whole scrapbook of theirs. I can't find a way to pull it apart yet. There's a little antique book jacket that I turned into a journaling spot, 1950s theater arts magazine, embroidery print from the 50s, children's magazine or children's book pages on cardstock, velvet. Look at this wonderful. A Good Thanksgiving. It's Canadian Thanksgiving actually right now, so that was kind of fun to pop in there. Canasta score sheet that you can journal on. Lots of fun clusters in this book here. And then I kept the original, the end pages from the book. So as you can see, there are a lot of pages in here. I'm putting this up on Etsy now. You can go to hyperstamper.etsy.com if you'd like to look at that, purchase that, or look at any of the other dozens of journals I have on there, my handmade journals. Thanks for visiting. Don't forget to subscribe.